You're listening to episode 186 of the Small and Supercharged podcast with Ria Freeman. Hello and welcome to today's podcast. It is a solo with me and we're going to chat about no, the word no, because I put up a post a little while ago about how it's so important to use the word no more, not in a nasty way, but how when we use the word no, it protects our yeses and it also makes our yeses a whole lot more valuable. And I also went into the fact that a no is not necessarily a no never, it's a no for now, and how we need to probably get a lot more accepting of the word no as well to hear it, and obviously not worry about being told no for something. And if we can get over that, how that opens up a whole new world for us, because we can ask questions, we can push for things, we can think of things, and we're not necessarily worried about the outcome, because even if it's a no, it's still a step forward. Might sound a little bit out there, but it's a really important lesson, and one that a few weeks ago something happened, and if I hadn't got this mindset of it's fine to say no and why it's fine to say no, I would have said yes to something and that wouldn't have been great. Like it would have been, it was a lovely opportunity, but it wasn't a lovely opportunity for where I am now and what I do now. So buckle up. I think the issue with the word no is it's always attributed to a bad thing, isn't it? You know, when you're a kid, if you do something wrong, it's no. If you pick something up you shouldn't, it's a no. And we're really hardwired into this no being a bad thing. You get shouted no at, and you know, if a horse is doing something silly or a dog's doing something silly, the first response generally, I'm not getting into training whether or not it's the right thing to do, is say no and then correct it. So I think it's really easy to see why that word has got so many negative connections. Obviously, it means we can't do something and it's restrictive, but we can use that restriction in a positive way as well. Because when we say no to things that don't serve us, we are leaving ourselves open to say yes to things that do. Might sound a little bit woo-woo, but stick with me. Now, we've all got the same 24 hours in a day, and I'm not going to go into how Beyonce aces her life in that 24 hours. I'm pretty sure she has a fair amount of help. I don't know her, obviously, but I'm pretty sure. So I think it's not particularly useful to say that. But we all have got 24 hours in a day. And obviously they're split between stuff like sleep, eating, childcare, horse care, dog walking, loads of stuff you've got to fit in the day. And if you actually did the kind of job of sitting down and carving up your day and looking at what percentage you do of what and how much you should be doing of other things. So if you're like me, you should probably be sleeping more. I know, funny thing to say, but there's a lot of evidence around better sleep. But let's crack on. What you should be doing and how much you should be working versus other stuff that would enhance and enrich your life. You may find that is not quite right there. But you've got the same amount of time. And if you think you work from 9 to 5 each day, that is, hold tight, that is 8 hours. I know, particularly if you're self-employed, you work more than that. And actually, I think a lot of us, even if you are employed, if you're working from home and due to COVID, you've been working from home, maybe you've been doing, more sort of flexi time. So you do something in the morning, then you work, or work right through, or you start late or whatever. But we've only got the same amount of time at work. And let's say we're going for the 9 to 5 idea. And let's say we have an hour for lunch and breaks and stuff all together, just because it's simple numbers. I'm not saying you should do that. So that's 7 hours a day. Now, if you said yes to every single opportunity that came through, just because you said yes, not because you wanted to do it, but just because everything you came through, you said yes to, the chances are that those 7 hours would fill up really quickly, and that would eat all your day away. Now, this might be something you're happy with, and I think that when we have different phases of our business, especially if we start a business or we start a new project, we're much more likely to say yes to every opportunity that comes our way. And I'm not against that all the time, because sometimes we need to look at things and go, that could have that effect. And particularly if we are starting out, we do tend to grasp every opportunity for the thought of what it can do for us immediately, and the leapfrog effect. Like, where can that put us? What can that put us in front of? What can that lead on to? Can that grow our portfolio? Etc, etc. Loads and loads of reasons why you would say yes to more things when you were just starting out on whatever you're doing. But as you move through and become more established, the chances are that you will get requests for things, whether that's people that want to pay you money, like genuinely in my case, it is. I get some lovely emails from people asking me if I would do different things for their brand and business. And you get the kind of, I should say yes, not fear even, but when you are, if you work for yourself, if you're self-employed, you do get the fear of, well, what if I lose this person, what if this happens? And therefore you say yes, perhaps, to stuff that you shouldn't. And this can lead you to becoming very, very stretched, not having time to sleep properly, not having time to do, well, no, I mean, I've always done all the work that I've said I would, but perhaps you feel you could have done it better, or you could have spent longer on it, or you could have just taken the stress off yourself a bit. But the real killer is when you say yes to things that don't really align with you, that you're not really doing anymore, but you say yes out of a fear that, your work might dry up, or out of a necessity, or because you're thinking about potentially influencers and people that work like that. Maybe you say yes because you don't think there's any better opportunities out there, or that you won't get a better opportunity, even if what you've said yes to is less than you would like. And this might be, it's a product that you don't really like. It might mean it's amount of money that you're not happy with. There are loads of reasons why things don't fit us particularly well. And I've got an example of a few weeks ago, pre-Christmas, I think. Must have been pre-Christmas. I had a really lovely email from a company who I have known about for years. Nice company. I've always thought they had good values, nice product, really nice. There was nothing wrong at all with the message I received, and there was nothing at all wrong with the company. Obviously, if I get a reproach from someone that I don't really like their company, I don't like their ethics, I don't like what they do, I don't like how they behave, it's very easy to say no, very easy. But if it's someone that you like everything about them, and they put this lovely email together saying that they were looking for help with their PR and marketing, which is obviously something that I used to offer as a service. I mean, I work with a number of clients now that I mentor and coach and support, and we do clearly talk about PR marketing, social media, influencer marketing, general promotion, brand building, all that stuff. But I work with the brands now in a sort of supporting mentor/coach capacity. And the person that approached me was interested in a done for you service. There's obviously nothing wrong with that. I've done it before. But as I've kind of changed, I guess, what I offer has changed as well. So this email came through. And realistically, it would have been a decent sized job, recurring revenue, because usually often with PR, when you work on, they call it a retainer, which I hate, because to me that implies you just don't do anything but you get the money, which isn't the case. Well, it's never been the case for me. Maybe I've been doing it wrong, but that's never been the case for me. But I always used to work out like a monthly fee for PR work, and that will kind of roll around. And so it would be a significant amount of money based on what they were talking about, based on the size of company they were, based on the product range, etc., etc. But I don't do that anymore. I don't offer a completely done for you service for businesses where I am pitching products to publications all the time, where I am looking through features lists, where I'm submitting editorial, I don't do that level, that service in that way. Now, with some of the clients I work with, I have slightly different ways of working, but what they wanted and what they feel they need for their business, I could do it. I absolutely could do it, but it didn't light me up. And I know that sounds like such a privileged position to be in, and it is a really privileged position to be in. I have worked really hard to get here, And I was just filling in a form actually. And I think I've been self-employed for 11 years, unless I've completely miscalculated, but I feel like it's about 11 years. So, it's taken 11 years to get to this point, and I have, done slightly different things during that journey, and it's very much transitioned from being that service-based business of 11 years ago to here now. And I could still go back and do the service-based stuff. I don't hate it at all. I quite enjoy it, but I enjoy what I'm doing now a lot more. And whilst there was a big appeal for saying, yeah, let's chat, let's see what we can do, the stronger appeal was saying no, but not in a rude way. And that's the point as well. When you say no to something, you have got the choice whether you say no in a rude way or no in a polite way. So I just explained to the person that I love the brand. I knew their brand. I was very, very honoured that they'd reached out to me, which was all completely true. But that my business was a slightly different direction now, and this is how I worked with people. I didn't think this was what they were after. If it was and I'd misunderstood, I'd absolutely love to have a discussion about it. But I felt like it perhaps wasn't. And if that was the case, then unfortunately that wasn't something I was able to do. But thank them very much for contacting me and moved on. Now, even now, a bit of me goes, should you have done that? I absolutely should have done, because I would have enjoyed the work. It would have been fine, but I wouldn't have enjoyed it to the level that I'm enjoying everything else I'm doing. And it would have been a big chunk of time that I would need to dedicate. And I want to dedicate that time to other things at the moment. And I got a lovely email back saying, thanks so much. Really appreciate you getting back to me. Completely appreciate what you're saying. If our situation changes and we're looking for the kind of service that you offer, we'll absolutely be in touch. It probably was pre-Christmas. It probably finished with a Merry Christmas or something. But the point was, I said no to that. And at the time, you do get that, But by saying no to that, I have not over-subscribed, that's the wrong word, not over-committed, there we go, myself. I have got space in my system to allow me to pursue projects that I'm working on, to allow me to research things I want to research, to allow me to do things that I want to do, allow me to grow the podcast, allow me to work on the book, allow me to create other things for Mastermind and to help develop more the avenues I've got. And what it also allowed me to do is that this month particularly, I've had some fabulous conversations with people that have basically led into working with a few more people on a one-to-one mentor basis and having additional people in Mastermind, which has been absolutely awesome and very much more aligned with what I'm doing now. Now, if I'd said yes to the company, I would not have had the space to take on people to do mentoring with. Or if I'd have gone into the whole yes idea and said, yeah, I can do that, I wouldn't have enough hours in the day to do anything else. I would be so stacked. It would be really, really difficult. And going to the sort of parent point of view, obviously the children are back at school now, so that is easier. But, we are still in COVID times. Let's not beat around the bush there. And I know that when we have different issues with if COVID numbers rise, the chances are that there'll be a bubble and all this stuff that happens. And if there's a bubble, then they're at school for slightly less time. And if I'm absolutely rammed in my day, I can't accommodate that. And it becomes another stress. Again, if you want to go for a walk in the morning, if you want to walk the dog, or if you want to go for a ride and you are stacked, you're not going to enjoy that experience because you've got no space. And I think I keep saying the last 2 years a lot of times, but it has taught us the importance of finding those little bits of brilliance in each day, the little things that really do light you up. I'm really lucky. I love my work. I love what I do, but I also love going for a walk. I love hanging out with the horses. So you've got to balance it. And when you say no to things, it helps to protect your yeses. It allows you much more space to say yes to stuff that you want to do, exciting opportunities, new things that really align with you, and your whole being goes, yes, I want to do that, rather than stuff you go, that'd be nice. If you say yes to everything as well, your yeses have got a much lesser value. if someone is going to ask you something and they know the answer is going to be yes, it's not worth as much. And it means that when you give that yes, it means so much more. But let's flip this around the other way as well. When I said no to that person, I wasn't being rude. I just wasn't in the right place for that. So if we flip that around and we think about how it was on that side of the coin, let's look at the other side. So let's say you are a brand and you're looking to work with another brand on a collaboration, but you think they're much bigger than you. Why would they say yes to you? You're just a mere minnow. Is that even a saying? I think minnows are quite small. You're a tiny fish in a big pond. Why would they say yes to you? So you won't ask. Now, I'll tell you the easiest way to not achieve what you want to achieve. It's by not asking. Because how would that person know? Unless they've got telepathic skills and they've tuned into you, they're not going to know. So if you look at a situation, you put together a good pitch, you have a considered thought on something, and you reach out to somebody, you ask them a question in a polite, kind, thought-through way, and they say no in a polite way, as they should do. Just because you're saying no doesn't mean it has to be rude. You've made a connection, a nice connection as well. You're on their radar now. They may not have knew you existed before. They do now. And it's a no for now. It's not necessarily a no for ever. It might be that it's not because you feel that you're a small player and they don't want to collaborate with you. It might be that they've got a schedule that's ram-packed with collaborations and they can't take on any more. Or maybe they're working with a brand that's quite close to you and they feel they need some gaps, they need some distance. If you're an influencer, the same thing. If you approach a brand and they say no, if you approach them in the right way, it's a no for now. It is a no based on the current situation. It's not a no for anything. And it might mean that they come up with other ideas in the future where they think, you know what, such and such would be good for that. Because most people, if you approach them in a considered way, they'll do a bit of research on you online. They'll have a little look at Instagram. They'll look at Facebook. They'll look at TikTok, whatever. And you're in their view now. You're in their mind. Whether or not they act on that immediately or not, that's a different thing. So if we can not just not be worried about saying no, but if we can accept no's in a better way, it'll give us the confidence to really go after what we want and preserve our yeses and preserve our time and space and energy. But it should also allow us to go after the things that we want to. One, you could argue because you've got more space in your life to do that. But if you're not afraid of the no, where is the risk? There isn't any. Oh, it's deep today, isn't it? So I just wanted to talk a bit about that because it is something I really do hand on heart believe, and it's something that I've been applying a lot more over the last few years when I have been much more fussy about who I work with and what I do with them and how I do it, and kind of sticking to my guns a bit, not in a negative or an angry way, but just really trying to tune into what I want to do and not doing stuff that I don't want to do. Even if it looks on paper like it's a good fit, if I don't want to do it, I'm allowed to say no. As is somebody that I approach. If I say, oh, I love what you're doing, would you be interested in this? You know, if I'm working with some of my one-to-one clients and we're pitching to other brands about collaborating or potential things we can do together, and they say, oh, love the idea, love your brand, but we can't at the moment, so it's a no. That's fine too. We're all allowed to say no. A no doesn't have to be connected to a bad feeling or anything like that. We need to embrace the no. Embrace it. If you are listening to this, I would love you to screenshot and share to stories. And obviously I have mentioned Mastermind in this chat and got some exciting things on the horizon for Mastermind. So it's definitely a watch this space. I'm really excited to share a couple of things that hopefully will come through soon for Mastermind who are already in the group. If you are interested in growing your brand over 2022, maybe even beyond, hopefully beyond, do consider joining. There's loads of opportunities put in the group, things with the traditional and digital media. We have got mindset masterclasses, marketing masterclasses, weekly lives. We do trainings, we do chats. We do all sorts in there. It's an awesome group. Head over to riafreemanpr.co.uk and it is along the top there for you to look at. There's a little form to fill in. Don't worry about it. It's just nice that I know a bit more about you and your business. And yeah, it would be awesome to have you there. So I'm going to love you and leave you for this week. If you've listened, please do screenshot, please share to stories. Do you find it easy to say no to things? Let me know. I'd love to hear. Take care. Speak soon.